Benvenuti, a very good morning. First day of our conference. It's a big honor, the opening keynote by Sinan Tumer. He's a true innovator, international strategist for innovation, rooted in your 2 degrees in mechanical and computer science from Cornell University. You made a fantastic career at SAP, overlooking all the R&D, research and development operations of this global company rooted originally in Germany. SAP had 18 research and development centers, innovation centers around the globe. And you as well established at the headquarters of SAP in the US, Newton Square, the co-innovation labs of SAP for the East Coast. In addition, the German US Innovation Center in Manhattan, New York, you were a key member of the board, and now you are together with investment funds and on innovation here, Naqi Logix, a new kind of human-machine interaction. But your keynote will be, of course, on strategic innovation, and that's what we need, quality innovations for sustainable transformation. It's a big honor to have you with us. It was an honor for me the last couple of years to conduct together the Innovation Adoption Forum at the DEBEST conference, and now Benvenuti, Sinan.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much, Akim, for this introduction. I don't want to embarrass you, but I want to make 2 slight corrections. I'm not a graduate of Cornell. I'm a graduate of Georgia Institute of Technology, Georgia Tech, yes, from Atlanta. And my daughter graduated from Cornell in mechanical engineering. So there's a slight correction there. Okay, again, it's a pleasure and honor for me to be here today in front of this distinguished group. Some of you may know me. I've been involved with this digital ecosystem conferences since 2009, first time in Istanbul. By the way, that's where I was born, and that's where I'm originally from. So the conference was just 100 meters away from where I was raised. So that was pretty interesting conference. So again, I've spent most of my career, most of my professional career at this small German company called SAP AG, or SAP SE now. I was responsible for 18 research center operations around the globe. So I was on the plane a lot of time. And then the last 5 years of my career at SAP, I formed the Co-Innovation Lab at the headquarters of SAP America, Newton Square. And I retired from SAP at the end of 2018. And I decided to become an entrepreneur and started my own consulting company. And then in the meantime, I was involved with this new company called Naqi Logix. And I became an advisory board member, and now I'm the chief operating officer. I'll just give you the details a little bit later. So what I'm going to do today is talk about innovation methodology, how innovation happens, and I'm going to use Naqi Logix as an example. I'm not going to be promoting and advertising Naqi Logix, but I'm using that as an example how you developed an innovative technology. Okay, so I want you to read this disclaimer in 5 minutes. Okay, so what's innovation? Okay, innovation happens when invention is transformed into a commercial application. Unless it is, can I use this? Okay. Okay, so if an invention is not transformed into a commercial application, it is deemed to stay behind the closed doors of a laboratory or a research center. So what that means is someone must be willing to pay for this invention because it is going to solve their problems or pain points. Otherwise, it is just staying behind the closed doors. So, it has to be, in a nutshell, if there's no market, there's no innovation, right? Okay, so I'm going to read this quote from Eric Ries, the author of the book Lean Startup. By the way, if you are planning to start your own company, I strongly suggest that you read this book. It is Eric gives great ideas. So, a startup is a human institution designed to create a new product or service under conditions of extreme uncertainty. I have to emphasize that word, extreme uncertainty. Why is it why is it under extreme uncertainty? Because you don't know if the product is going to work. You don't know if you can raise funds to operate your company, and you don't know if someone is willing to pay for the product and buy it. So you have to manage those uncertainties, and I think that's one of the reasons why 95% of startups at Silicon Valley fail in the first year, because they cannot manage the uncertainty. That's one of the reasons. So what's the innovation cycle from from idea to market? So you have an idea, you want to go to market. Everything in between is uncertainty. It is no man's land. You don't know what is going to happen during this time, and the challenge for the startup company is to manage this uncertainty. So you start with discovery. You have an idea. You do applied research, and then come up with invent a prototype and develop and adapt into an application. And then once you have the minimum viable product, then you reach to innovation stage. But it is the problem is the methodology is not straightforward. Task 2 doesn't start after task 1. Task 3 doesn't start after task 2. So it is not that linear process. It is a constant feedback loop. You have to collect data, test, analyze, and learn from the results. And then at that point, you have to decide whether you want to continue, pivot, or stop. Things may not be working out. So that's what you are doing on a constant basis. So it is not, again, it is not a linear process. It is a constant feedback loop. And I will come back to this slide later and relate to what we are doing at Naqi Logix. Okay. So what are we doing at Naqi Logix? It's a new technology, and it's a device controlling everything, hands-free, voice-free, and screen-free. Today, there are about 500 billion digital devices. And in order to control these devices, you have to make a gesture or talk or use screen to click an icon. So with the technology we are developing, we are eliminating all these and controlling hands-free, voice-free, screen-free. What are we doing? How are we doing it? We are developing a smart earbud with advanced sensor technology and controlling those devices with an invisible UI. So it's getting a little bit complicated to understand what I'm talking about, but I will make it pretty clear. So we are controlling everything with Naqi interface in 3 stages. We developed a biosensor earbud which detects micro gestures, EMG signals from the muscles, and sends the signal to an invisible interface, so that this invisible interface can control the devices voice or screen free, hands free, and it is completely invisible interface. Each of this matrix, each square can be considered as an icon to represent a function. And then we are developing an interface providing SDKs and APIs for the partners to develop applications so that this earbud and user interface can be connected to their devices. So in a nutshell, that's what we are doing at Naqi Logix. So what's happening is you can gaze at this matrix, but you don't see the matrix. How do you know that you are hitting the icon? There is a voice feedback that you hear in the earbud. And then you pick the function, and this function controls a device, either on a desktop, mobile. It can be AR, VR devices, or it can do it without a screen at all. So that's what the technology is all about. So what I'm going to do is, I know this is a little bit complicated to understand, especially in a few minutes of applications, but I'll show you a video which okay, so this didn't, it was a little bit tricky. Yeah, I may have to skip the first video. Okay. All right. So what's happening is we are controlling. We are start from the beginning here. So in this example, we are controlling a computer without a keyboard or mouse, and he is typing on a computer without using a keyboard and mouse, and completely by using the earbud. And here, by the way, he is the inventor of this technology, playing a video game, and then we are able to operate a wheelchair without a joystick, completely operated by an earbud. In this case, he's controlling the adjustments and tilts and all that, and these are done all by earbud with no hand controls at all. So that was with that was gyroscopic technology. So what we did is, in our Model 3, we are using EMG signals. EMG signals to detect the muscle movement and create a signal and send it to the invisible UI. So he is the product manager, and these are the signals detected by the earbud. And then there are supposed to be some green boxes through AI technology. It is recording the gestures. So he's moving his eyebrow raise. Next one is going to be eye blink. And this time he is doing some micro gestures with his jaw. And each peak is recognizing the signal. And then you can pick and choose the function you want to use. And then this is the customization menu. And you can select like play music, or you can initiate Alexa. You can use a smart home technology. So he's just gazing at this matrix. D2 is a function that you can assign. He's controlling the computer right now. He's playing music, and you can forward, fast forward, turn on and off. So you can turn lights on and off. You can turn TV on and off. And you can call someone. He's calling Joe. You can go, and then he's controlling a game, video game. It's going back and closing the invisible UI. Okay, so he's on the web, Google. D4 is assigned to word processing. So he can open a blank document and he can start typing. The next one is, I think that he's opening the notepad. And we can type up to 40 characters per minute with this with an earbud. Okay. So I know this was a kind of a sneak preview of what we are doing, but so the whole thing started back in 2013. The person who was controlling the computer is the inventor of this technology. And he was inspired with to create this technology from one of his friends, quadriplegic, and he has to lay down 23 hours a day on a bed, and he has no function. So he said, well, I can help this guy. I can create an earbud, and then he can play games. He can type in his computer. And then he was the first one tested the technology. And first time in his life, he was able to play a video game. And his mother was crying next to it when he tested it. So that's how he was inspired. We are not going to be in the wheelchair business or business of accessibility, but our market is going to be global. Our goal is to control any digital device with this technology. So again, just to give an example on the matrix, you can start playing music. I mean, these are the functions. You can pick gaze at this function, and then bring up the keyboard. But again, you are not seeing the keyboard. You are getting a voice confirmation that keyboard, and then you start typing with an earbud. You can control the temperature. You can call an ambulance. So each matrix is an application, and then each box is an icon, a function within the application. So these are some of the examples. For example, mother holding an infant. She has to use both of her hands, but she needs to check something, and she wants to order something from Amazon or call the restaurant to place an order. So she can do that with an earbud. Gaming, you can eliminate that control box. And by the way, the wheelchair is our first application. And I wasn't supposed to give the name of the company, but last night I got a confirmation that it's okay to share the name. We are working with a wheelchair company called Permobil. It's a Swedish company, I think $1 billion company. They are building mechanical wheelchairs. Each wheelchair costs about $60,000. They tested our technology, and then they decided to work with us and just do something together so that they can go to market with this technology. So last night I was informed that I could reveal the name of the company right now because the agreement is about to be signed. So you can control AR/VR devices, you can control robots, and of course, first responders, they need to use both of their hands, and then they need a third arm, and this technology can help them to do other things without interrupting what they are doing right now. Okay, so that's again the example. I mean, she is holding a baby, and then she can open Alexa or control the temperature of the room, or call her husband Joe. Okay, and then if you are riding a bicycle and you are listening to music and you want to change the music, and instead of stopping and changing it on your phone, you can do it with the earbud. And if you are skiing downhill, if you have a camera, if you want to do a snapshot, instead of stopping and hitting a button, or with a thick glove, you can use this technology without interrupting what you are doing. And then again, you can completely eliminate this control unit when you are playing games. And at the industrial use, if you are a quality control manager, you are using your smart glasses or AR/VR glasses. Instead of hitting a button, because you have to leave what you're doing with your both hands, you can use this technology to control your AR/VR glasses. Okay, so that's all about the technology that we are developing. Of course, when you start company, first thing you need to do is file a patent. You have to protect your intellectual property. So far, we have filed 29 patents, 23 of them issued. And these are the countries and regions where these patents are issued. And then there are two family of patents we filed. Naqi's Invisible User Interface, that's the software framework, that matrix I show. And then the earbud technology sensors itself, they are patented. Okay, and every time we invent a new technology, enhance, we file a patent. We started with one patent 2013, and then we are up to 29. And this 23 issued, other 6 will be issued because we never lost a patent application. Okay, back to the original the innovation cycle. So what we did, in 2013, Dave Siegel, the guy typing on the computer with an earbud, he had this idea inspired with his quadriplegic friend. He discovered this idea in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and then he filed a patent in 2014. And I got involved at that time as an advisory board member while I was still working at SAP. I became their advisory board member, of course, with the consent of SAP. And then we were through some connections, we got connected to this entrepreneur in Vancouver in 2019, and he decided to take over the company as the CEO, and then he made some investments. So in 2020, we transferred the patents to Canada. So we are officially a Canadian company, no longer a US-based company. and then raised 1.9 million from family and friends. That was our seed funding. And then we started applied research in India with a group, and they are also part. They have the ownership in the company. So we invented this earbud. That was in 2021, and then at that point we ran out of money. So, we raised another 1 million from convertible bonds, continued the development, and then we initiated a crowdfunding. And from crowdfunding we raised 4.1 million. So far we raised $7 million, and now we are at the minimum viable product level. It's demonstratable. It's at pre-commercial stage, and that now we are validating the commercial viability. And of course, it's an infinite feedback loop. It's not a linear process. We keep fixing things. We go back to applied research stage, keep fixing and fixing. It's an infinite loop. And as the chief operating officer, I had to do a lot of work in this box. So in order for us to commercialize and create the reference design and all that, we need another 10 to 15 million dollars. That's the additional fund we need to raise to completely go to market. But we are continuing. We are not pivoting. We are not stopping, but we are continuing. So I think, and if you notice, I did not say anything about VCs, venture capitalists, because we prefer not to work with the venture capitalists, because they take over the company, you lose the control of the company, and then your shares go to minimum because they want to take the lion's share. Okay? So if we have to, we may, but we prefer not to. Okay, so what's the roadmap ahead? We are at this stage right now. We are enhancing our invisible UI. We completed our earbud UI customization, and we are at this stage. And next step is Naqi Data Cloud. We want to collect data from the earbuds and get into big data business. And then right now the technology is on Windows and Apple OS. We want to get into mobile technology as well. We are talking to wearable companies, consumer electronic giants. I cannot reveal the name. And then we are about to receive 1 million Canadian dollars from the Canadian government. It is going to happen in the next couple of weeks. And then global accessibility leader, I can tell the name. It's Permobil from Sweden. And then we are also talking to multiple AR/VR leaders, because we need partners to go to market. That's our business model, working with partners. Okay, so we are testing and then developing user kits so that partners can write integration from their devices to our user interface and to our earbud. And we want to finalize reference design. I want to emphasize this because we are not an earbud company. We are a platform company, and we are not going to be developing and manufacturing. We are not going to be in the business of manufacturing earbuds. This is something we cannot handle. So what we are going to do is we are developing our reference design, and we are looking for companies like Samsung, Apple, Ericsson, and Nokia to embed our technology into their earbuds. So, and then that's going to be our model. So those companies should manufacture their earbuds with our reference design in it, and then we will get their royalty income. Okay. Okay, so this is another eye test. in our roadmap, sorry, it's a little bit, it's not straight. So this is starting from Q1 of 2023. And if you notice that you cannot read it, there are six areas where we are working on: software, hardware, testing, developing our website, sales and marketing, and OEM. And these are the milestones we have to complete. And if you notice it, it is all embedded together. That's again going back to my original comment. We are managing this in an extreme uncertainty, because if something is delayed here, it's delaying everything. So everything here have to be coordinated and managed. And again, it's a constant feedback loop. So this is the challenge. This is what we are managing, and it's not one task after another. They are all going in parallel. Okay, so last but not the least, why are we doing this? Because we have to make money at the end. Okay. So what's our first of all, the market we are addressing is the IoT, Internet of Things market, smart digital equipment market. So in 2020, this market generated $478 billion, and there are about 11.5 billion devices in the market. So with compounded growth rate of 26%, in 2029 there will be $2.5 trillion. Sorry, I pushed the button. There are going to be the market will be about $2.5 trillion with 23 billion devices. So if you notice, the number of devices will double, but the revenue will be about 6 times more. Why is it? It's not that because of inflation. It's not that because they are going to be charging more for the devices, because there are going to be a lot of software applications being developed with these devices. So because of the software development, the revenue will be 6-fold. Even the number is going to be doubling. So this is the market we are addressing. I'm not saying that we are going to be taking 1%, 2% of the market. That all depends on the partners, but that is the market we are targeting. So what's our model? Licensing model, licensing our technology, licensing our invisible UI, and then integration of software in partner applications. And these are all gonna generate royalty revenue and recurring revenue from data. Once we get into big data analytics, once we start collecting terabytes of data from our earbud, we can analyze and sell it to people who would like to analyze the market, like retailers or wholesalers. So that is going to be a kind of cash cow revenue, but initially licensing and software as a service revenue will be our target. So that's all today, and I hope I didn't confuse you with this technology. I tried to explain it in a simple term as possible. So what I try to show here is innovation concept, how we apply it to a real life company, how we are developing this company with these concepts. Okay, I'd be glad to entertain any questions.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sinan, for your opening keynote, all your insights into innovation, breakthrough innovation, and uncertainty. So there has to be a market,
Right.
and uncertainty has to be managed. You are the one who managed uncertainty on a global scale, and now in the startup company. And yes, we can learn a lot in various fields for sustainable transformation, whether it's the future of energy, the future of mobility, the future of transparent value chains, the future of democratic involvement in our societies. A lot of lessons can be learned from what you have outlined this morning. But one specific question before we open the floor here for questions. Can you imagine? Yesterday we said trust in the digital age. Can you imagine a trust function that your technology, when you dive into this immersive world and tapping into the services and connecting to people, has as an option a trust function involved as a unique selling point?
Well, I mean, at the beginning, we could not talk about trust because we were in an uncertainty. So we are developing trust by talking to the partners. And yesterday we had our management meeting. I joined from upstairs through Zoom, and at that point I was told that I can reveal the name of our first partner, the Per Mobile. So over there, I mean, this was by the way, it didn't happen overnight. Our initial contact with them was 18 months ago. So trust takes trust building takes time, because they kept saying, okay, show me. It's, I mean, they are not going to trust from a piece of paper. You have to show, you have to demonstrate. And so what we did is we implemented our technology into their devices, the $6,000 wheelchair. And by the way, one of our board members is quadriplegic. His name is Sam Sullivan, former mayor of Vancouver, who brought Olympics to Vancouver, and he's using the same wheelchair from this company. So he is going to be on the TV with this technology. So again, trust building takes time. It took us 18 months for them to say, okay, we are willing to work with you. So we will get into some co-innovation or co-development agreement.
It's clear to the microphone.
I have it. So close to you.
Okay.
Yeah, I have the question of a technical question.
Sure.
I'm frightened. I was looking very frightened when you presented this innovation, and I thought I'm driving with a bike, and a fly comes into my eye, and I do some movement, and I'm online. What is going to happen?
Okay.
How do you exclude?
That's a very yeah. I understand. I understand where you are going. Okay. So yeah, the things may go wrong. Unintentional moment. Okay. So this AI, the AI technology we are developing, the green peaks you saw, it is filtering intentional and unintentional moments. And then plus, in order to bring that invisible UI, you have to trigger it. You control it. It doesn't automatically show up. You control it with the jaw clench. So if you don't do your intentional jaw clench, it's not going to come up. So I mean, if you if there is fly, or you just unintentionally move your head, nothing is going to happen unless you do it. Right.
So, and can it be integrated with my earbud? I'm having problems. I have earbuds.
Oh, you mean hearing aids? You mean, okay? Yes. I didn't include it in this presentation, but currently our partners in India is developing a hearing aid using the same technology. And that hearing aid will be sold over the counter, because FDA in the US approved over the counter sales, and it's going to be very low cost. and then eventually both hearing aid and this technology will be combined together. So we are not going to be calling earbud or hearing aid. We are going to call it ear device or something, okay? Because it is controlling everything, including hearing.
Just next to
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you very much for the great pitch. I really enjoyed it a lot. So my question is, you said you are working with an Indian company, which makes probably a lot of sense regarding development costs and so on. And as we're talking about trust, so how did you identify the company? How did you build the trust? And how, as you have them in the company now, how did that turn out? And the question really comes from this globalization issue, working with different cultures, at the same time integrating them really in the core of the company, developing the things with them. So can you share a little bit your experience there?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it's another great question. So there was some pushback from our board of directors about using an Indian company. So we this Indian company was the owner is a friend of this founder from Vancouver. So the trust was already there before we got into it, and also they became an owner of the company. This is not an external group. They own certain portion of the company. So we gave them certain portion so that they feel that they are part of the company, not an external vendor. Okay. So again, we had an agreement that we could cancel the agreement any time, but the trust was built over a period of time, and because as soon as they invented a new technology, something new, they said, okay, I think you guys should go ahead and file a patent. They didn't try to steal anything like that. So, but in again about trust, in terms of manufacturing the initial 100, we are going to be manufacturing 100 units for demonstration purposes, and we identified a Canadian company in Vancouver who was willing to do that. Initially, we were looking at China. I mean, I have nothing against China, but there was a lot of pushback about using Chinese manufacturers because of, again, the trust issue. Maybe the ones we identified, they're perfectly fine, but there's that perception. So it's it's a very good question. Who do you trust to build your technology? So
regarding company culture, did it change working with an Indian company?
No, they were. I mean, they just integrated right away. Okay, right away, no problem.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Thanks for the interesting presentation. I want to follow up on the trust thing. And the question I have is, what about the customer and the trust? What you're talking about is business to business. But going back, how do you build the trust for the customer? Because going back to the start of your presentation, you are talking about the market. And the market needs, right? And that's the customer. So if the customer doesn't trust your system, then how do you will enter the market? You can say, okay, maybe that's not your business because you're not the manufacturer, right, of the earbuds. But I think this is a major point, because especially talking what he was talking about. He was talking about, I have fear when I hear you. But I think it's a very interesting technology. But I think that's the major issue, how you will enter the market, and how do we earn the trust of potential customers, also given the fact that you said another revenue will be the data plan to sell.
Right. Okay. All right. So first of all, our initial customers will be companies manufacturing these devices. So the customer, the end user, are going to be their customers. Okay. So with this wheelchair company, by the way, the reason that besides the inspiration from this quadriplegic person, I insisted that we use a wheelchair as a pilot application. Because if we can control a wheelchair, which is a very sensitive device, because the people who are operating it, they have handicaps. If we can manage to operate a wheelchair, we can manage to operate anything. We can manage to operate robots and drones, anything. So the feedback we are getting from this company, Permobil, the Swedish company, they are experts on mechanical wheelchair, that they can sell this device to any of their customers because this is what they are looking for. I mean, it's not only about operating a wheelchair in this case. These people cannot use their hands to type on a computer or play a video game, or they cannot turn on and off their lights and TV at home. So they are not only interested in driving the wheelchair, but also providing additional support. So did we test with an end user yet? No. But the feedback we are getting from this company, who have been working with these handicapped people, they wouldn't have any problem selling it, and they would get a very high demand request from their customers. So that's where we may get some pushback. I don't know. That's again another uncertainty that we have to overcome.
Absolutely, domain specific. I don't see
Right.
any problem.
Right. Right. And then also we are working with the Canadian government, military, and they want to use this technology to control the drones. Okay, so I mean, if they feel comfortable with it, we feel comfortable with it. So I mean, they are giving us $1 million Canadian to be able to test the technology. So that again, and probably I'm not completely answering your question, but that is evolving. That user trust thing is evolving with some uncertainties. That's where we are at. Okay. Well, one more question, I think.
Hey Sinan, great presentation. I think it's a great product, particularly for people with disability. But my question was, when you have an innovation, how do you select your customers? Because I think people with disability are a clear target group of your product. But you mentioned a lot of you mentioned examples controlling phones. Mm-hmm. So how do you know that controlling phones will be easier, or in this case, will be better than controlling it with a joystick? Because when I listen to the presentation, I just tried to make some face gestures by myself, and I think it made me quite tired fairly quickly. And of course, I'm not used to controlling devices with face gestures. But how can you select and evaluate which will be the target group of your product?
Right. So I mean, our goal is not to replace joystick, mouse, or keyboard. Our goal is to create an alternative way of controlling devices. Okay, so if I'm wearing an AR/VR glass, doing some things with my two hands, and at that point I need to go back and read a manual. So instead of stopping what I am doing, I can do that function with an earbud. So I think we are targeting the users who will need a third hand to do their job. So on the video gaming, someone can come up with a software where you need three hands, not make the game more enjoyable. So that is going to be our target. Our goal is not to replace what is available today, just create an alternative way of doing things.
Is there an explanation for the name? What does Naqi mean?
Okay, that's I knew someone was going to ask this question. This is one thing I cannot explain. So it's coming from the Sumerian alphabet. Okay, it's okay. So the owner came up with this name and something coming from the Sumerian alphabet. But I will. If you give me your context, I can ask him, and then he can explain. So,
Great.
so it is not. I mean, standing for any words, anything like that. So,
All the best, Sinan.
all
Thanks
right.
a lot.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.